I'm Todd Pellegrino, Senior Applications Engineer at JADAK, and in this instructional video, I'll be demonstrating and explaining how to capture initial images by using the camera configuration tool in JADAK's Clarity Studio software. You can think of the camera configuration tool as a quick way to jump in and begin capturing images, configure the camera, or set up global configurations for any attached compatible smart camera. If you're not familiar, Clarity Studio is the next generation version of our software tool that lets users develop machine vision algorithms in an easy drag and drop interface on your PC and lets you port that script to any compatible JADAK smart camera. It's simple enough that you don't have to be a machine vision expert to develop solutions, and also its architecture is built on Python code, and much of that code is accessible, allowing for editing or fully modifying the code. This freedom for customization makes it really flexible and a powerful tool. Now, the camera configuration tool will allow you to quickly initialize the camera, set white balances and exposure times, that sort of thing, without having to worry about building any machine vision scripts yet. Make sure the camera is connected and communicating, capturing images and configured correctly. And many parameters from the commonly used U3V interface are available here also, so you can dive right in and tweak settings or just make sure the camera is pointing at the right target. In order to use the camera configuration tool, a JADAK compatible camera will need to be attached. In this example, I have an Allegro IBD 5 megapixel attached here. So in order to get rolling, we'll select the camera from the list. The list will show multiple cameras if more than one is attached, and will also show a variety of interfaces, if available, for example U3V, like the one shown here. Select the camera and the configuration tool button will be available rather than grayed out. Click the refresh button if you need to refresh the camera list. The camera configuration button is typically located in the middle of the toolbar, and its icon is a camera with a gear. Clicking the button will bring up the camera configuration window. Here you'll see an organized list with groups of available control tools. But a good place to start might be the Show button located in the lower right corner. This will initialize the camera, activate the illumination, and capture an image. The image is then shared to the window, and some basic tools are readily available. As an example, activate the Crop ROI button, and a red box will appear. Use the grips at the edge to then set the ROI for subsequent images to be cropped, as I'm showing in the example here. Make sure you hit the Set button. You'll see now that an image is cropped and the ROI is set. Click the Native button to return the camera to its original sensor settings, or uncropped. The button labeled Capture at the right will capture an individual image, while the Start button will capture immediate reoccurring images until Stop is pressed, much like a live streaming mode, as you can see here. Now, checking the Exposure ROI box, you'll see that a green box appears. You can use this to set the Exposure ROI location. Just make sure you click Update, and it will set the exclusive region of pixels to be evaluated for the target exposure setting. Just note, this works if auto exposure mode is enabled. Otherwise, it will just stick to the manual exposure value. And I'll show that setting in a moment. The blue navigation buttons, or the mouse wheel, let you move about the image, zoom in or zoom out, as well as an option to download the most recently captured image. Now that you can quickly capture a usable image, we'll look at some of the camera control settings. I'll highlight a few of them here. The device control group displays many of the device characteristics, such as firmware version or serial number. The light gray color in a field indicates that they are inherent to the device and therefore locked. One field that is editable is the device user ID. I'll change that to camera 1. Hover over any device field title, and you'll notice that a brief description of the field pops up and its purpose. Note that changing settings here don't need to be set or saved. They take effect as soon as they are edited, changed, or the slider bar is moved to a new position. The next two groups have many of the parameters you may be interested in to dial in the camera. As the name suggests, the Image Format Control Group provides settings related to formatting the image, setting the cropping values here, manually using X and Y values and offsets, much like I showed a moment ago. Also, you can set the pixel format Here I'm showing a monochrome image, either mono or color if this were a color camera, with RGB or BRG values. The acquisition control group provides several important parameters for optimizing a camera for a particular application, as well as some unique JADAK featured image capture modes. Acquisition mode allows for the selection of the image capture mode of the camera. Just to mention a few of them here, continuous provides continual individual frames, probably the most common mode, or there is a unique JADAK image capture mode known as multi-frame, which allows for multiple frames to be captured and then stitches them together in a single image. This might be helpful when looking at something moving or rotating, like a rotating test tube, where you want to be able to see all sides of it. When this mode is active, other parameters below, like the frame count and frame time, will apply. Here, you can also set the auto exposure mode, either manual values or auto exposure for the camera. If auto exposure is off, it will take the manual exposure time from the value above, and I'll demonstrate here. With manual mode off, I'm setting 9,000 microseconds. And you can see as I go into a continuous mode, as I move that exposure time, the image will gradually get either lighter or darker. And again, if you're looking for auto exposure mode, change this field to continuous. The illumination value can be adjusted to control the power for the onboard camera illumination from 0 or disabled, if perhaps you're using external lighting, or up to 100%. The analog control group lets you set the digital gain and the auto white balance control. Color gains allow the user to set the gain of the various color channels. And as a final section, auto exposure is a unique group that provides deep control of custom exposure settings if you need to really optimize the image capture settings. And at the bottom left, there's also an import and export button if you want to save or transfer other camera configuration profiles into or from existing cameras. In summary, the camera configuration button is a great tool to start with when you want to quickly jump into using Clarity Studio prior to setting up any machine vision scripts, as well as a fully featured configurator that lets you really dive in deep to optimize a camera for a particular application. Hope you found this video useful, and check out the other instructional videos related to other features of Clarity Studio. For more information, visit our website shown on the screen here.